The chapterized summary of Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari. The cognitive revolution occurred about 70,000 years ago when Homo sapiens evolved complex cognitive abilities in East Africa, giving rise to imagination, planning, and intricate communication/language. This allowed us to cooperate in large groups in unprecedented ways. It is marked in the archaeological record by the appearance of things like jewelry, art, evidence of long-distance trade between groups. Sapiens had an unprecedented ability to create and believe fictions, myths, legends that bound people together ideologically. This allowed Homo sapiens to spread out of Africa rapidly, colonizing the Middle East, Australia, Asia, Europe, and beyond. Other human species like Homo erectus and Homo neanderthalensis went extinct, unable to compete with the social cohesion and ingenuity of Homo sapiens. The agricultural revolution occurred about 12,000 years ago, first in the Middle East. People began domesticating plants like wheat, rice, potatoes, and animals like sheep, cattle, pigs. This allowed them to settle in permanent agricultural villages and towns, vastly increasing the population density and stratification of societies. Agricultural societies had to work harder than hunter-gatherers and were more susceptible to famine, malnutrition, and infectious diseases due to crowding in close contact with animals. Social elites emerged who controlled the agricultural surplus and didn't have to do manual farm labor. But agriculture allowed for the accumulation of possessions, social hierarchy, written records, specialized craftspeople, and eventually led to cities, kingdoms, and city-states by 50-100 years ago. It may have first emerged out of desperation rather than foresight. Early civilizations. The first civilizations emerged around 3000 BCE in Mesopotamia, Sumer, Babylon, Assyria, and Egypt, enabled by agriculture. They had cities, kingdoms, writing, calendar, mathematics, bureaucracy, trade networks, and religions centered around gods. Writing was first used for basic accounting, managing goods and transactions. But it allowed information to accumulate from generation to generation, powering cultural evolution. Stories like the Epic of Gilgamesh emerged, unifying humanity. In the first millennium BCE, money and universal religions/ideologies emerged that allowed vastly different groups to unify. Coins minted from precious metals served as a universal medium of exchange. Universal religions like Buddhism, Christianity, Islam unified diverse social groups under the same beliefs, moral code, and identity. Bureaucratic empires managed diverse populations through standardized administration, taxation, law. The Age of Discovery. Starting in the 15th century CE, European sailors crossed the Atlantic and charted sea routes to the Americas, Africa, India, East Asia. This linked the world into one navigable grid, bringing all peoples in contact. It to flourishing global trade, the destructive Columbian Exchange, Europe colonizing the Americas and transporting millions of African slaves to work plantations there. A global power balance emerged. The Industrial Revolution. In the 18th to 19th century, industrialization took off first in Britain, then spread worldwide. Machines and fossil fuels allowed large-scale factory production. New technologies like the railroad, electricity, telephone transformed economic production and human society. It to unprecedented growth in production, urbanization, rising prosperity for many. But also 19th century capitalism, environmental destruction, the plight of an urban working class conflict, new political ideologies like socialism. The present. The 20th century saw industrial technology proliferate worldwide, leading to modern globalization. Multinational corporations, consumer culture, English as global lingua franca emerged. Climate change is an existential threat. A global unification of humankind has occurred as all peoples are connected via trade, politics, technology, media, culture. But tensions persist between global integration and local diversity. Harnessing technology for human well-being remains a challenge.